Hello, guys. Welcome to the first ever episode or pilot episode of what I am now going to dub, uh, uh, super scary Saturdays, I guess. I don't know, just throwing it out there, just throwing a title out there. So we are going to be watching some animations from Horror Shorts Party, and make sure to go subscribe to them because I've watched a lot of their videos and they're actually pretty good. So, without taking longer, let's dive right in.
This story happened a few years ago and still traumatizes me to this day. It happened back when me and my brother used to live with our mom. Our dad was never around, so it was just the three of us in the household. My mom was far from the right type of person to raise kids. Neither of us feel safe around her.
Okay, go back. Okay. No offense, dude, but yeah, your mom does look kind of creepy. I mean, I'm sorry, but it has to be said here. I have to point this out. Sorry, guys.
Our dad was never around, so it was just the three of us.
Okay, Shotaro. Okay, Shotaro Todoroki.
Us in the household. My mom was far from the right type of person to raise kids.
Yeah, no shit. Like, my god.
Neither of us feel safe around her. My mom has always had serious issues, but...
Serious issues? Okay, maybe on the right mindset to maybe raise kids. Like, I'm not a parent myself, but dear God.
She changes a lot day to day. On an average day, she's tolerable, but she's still barely there on the inside. I usually step up to be the actual parent in the house. If it were up to my mom, we would all starve, because all she gave us was Kool-Aid. She was a garbage person, a real piece of shit. Most of the time, she sits around like a statue, slowly decaying until she looks like she smokes 100 packs a day. Then, without...
Okay, easy.
Any warning, she'll get up and throw a fit for an entire day straight, screaming about nonsense and wrecking everything in the house. Whenever that happens, the next 24 hours is a guaranteed trip to hell. I'm convinced that my mom has gone off the deep end. Recently, she had started doing something different. Her bedroom is at the end of the hall, so whenever my brother or I leave our room, we would see her creepy ass in the darkness. It was fine when she hid with her door closed, but now she sits at the foot of her bed with the door wide open, staring down the hallway, never moving or blinking.
Okay.
Room, we would see her creepy
Let's
ass
go
in
back
the darkness.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely creepy as all hell. Like, wow. Just wow. Like, even I would be frightened of this woman. And that's saying a lot.
It was fine when she hid with her door closed, but now she sits at the foot of her bed with the door wide open, staring down the hallway, never moving or blinking.
Yeah, imagine how creepy that is.
Sometimes twitching like a creep. Her sheets are covered in Kool-Aid packets and empty bottles of the medication she's supposed to take, so we both know it's only a matter of time before her next episode. The other night, after this had been going on for almost 2 weeks, the dread was killing me. I'd been doing everything I could to avoid leaving my room, but that night, I couldn't sleep because I desperately needed to use the bathroom. I had no other choice but to go out there.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Okay. So, yeah. Probably need to call CPS.
Go out there. I have to. Just pretend like you're asleep, okay? I'll be back in a few minutes. Be careful. I will.
Don't worry, I really need only to in the description box below.
Hi, Mom. Sorry I'm up. I just really needed to use the bathroom. Be with the results, my lord, but we...
Dude, that was creepy.
Mom, what do you want? Mom?
Oh, fuck. Imagine her just coming right at you.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, jeez, that is some complete exorcist bullshit there.
What's going on? I have no idea. That bitch is a psycho.
Yeah, what gave that away?
Sorry, did I scare my babies? How about a nice large glass of Kool-Aid, boys? Oh, yeah! Thanks, Mom. This tastes like shit! Mom, something about this Kool-Aid doesn't taste right. Drink the Kool-Aid!
Dude, what was that? What was that? Was that vomit or something? Dude, what came out of his mouth? There.
Mom. This tastes like shit! Mom, something
Right
about
there.
this Kool-Aid doesn't taste right. Drink the Kool-Aid or else you'll have to drink the milk from my beanbags. Okay, okay.
Okay.
The next day, my brother and I woke up in the hospital. That crazy bitch had poisoned the Kool-Aid she gave us. We almost didn't make it. The only thing that saved us was a 911 call I made that I didn't even remember doing. My mom was arrested, and my brother and I were taken from her custody. It was later found out that her mental illness had severely worsened, and that she was unmedicated at the time, so her sentence was slightly reduced, but she still faces years in prison and decades of close psychiatric supervision. My brother and I have been staying with some relatives ever since. Things have been much better without them, but neither of us will ever forget what happened that night, and we certainly won't be touching Kool-Aid for the rest of our lives. This story was inspired by
Oh, God.
horrific Kool-Aid incident regarding a woman who pled guilty in giving prescription medication mixed. Mentioned that Lawton would certainly gave them Kool-Aid with the medication mixed in.
Okay, yeah, might as well put a content warning in the description, so yeah. Like, I mean, wow, that is like, yeah, that's gotta be like, since that was like a real life case, like, dear God. What? 42.
When I first got married, I thought I had found the person that would make me happy for the rest of my life. That feeling didn't last long, though. It's amazing how quickly someone can change after getting married. Years later, I couldn't even remember why we got married in the first place. I hated her more than anything. The only reason that I even stuck around was because we had a daughter together. She was the only good thing that came out of our relationship. If it wasn't for her, I would have just walked away years ago. I forced myself to stay even though I couldn't stand the sight of my wife anymore. I didn't want a divorce either because a lawyer was way too expensive. Besides, bitch would just end up getting child support and alimony from me for the
Wow, okay, a little bit of a.
rest of my life. There really was nothing about her that was appealing to me anymore. She used to be hot when we first got married, but then she completely let herself go. She got really disgusting. Most of the time, she would just lay around like a sack of shit and drink Kool-Aid all day. She never once lifted a finger to help around the house either. She just lived off me and unemployment checks while she sat on her ass all day. I despised everything about her. She was totally useless. And what's more, she was always angry at everyone too. What she had to complain about, I didn't know. It was honestly better that she was always in a bad mood, though, because it meant that she didn't really want anything to do with me either. I couldn't imagine what I would do if she still wanted to be physical together. I couldn't even get it up for her anymore. She just got worse and worse every day, too. Not only was she lazy and gross, she also started using all this medication. That only made it worse. I was a dead man walking every day. I felt like my life was slowly crumbling away. Then one day, I had enough. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't keep providing for someone that made me loathe my own life. That's when I decided the only bill I was going to pay for from now on was her funeral. I started looking at
Okay. A little dark there, dude. Yeah,
ways
a
to
little
kill her
dark.
after that. After some research, I found a way to poison her drink. Besides, if everything worked out, I would never have to but smile at how. But that stopped me, though. The next night, I tried again. But this time, I doubled the dose just to make sure that it would be enough.
Dude, this guy's sadistic.
I didn't even ask if she wanted it. I just prepared the poison and brought her the glass. I knew the bitch was too greedy to refuse it. Of course, I was right. She immediately drank the whole thing, just like before. This time, I was sure that it would work. I stared at her, waiting for the poison to kick in. But again, nothing happened. I completely lost my shit at that point. I'd honestly never seen a more beautiful sight. A few minutes later, it was over. She was dead. I thought everything was going to be perfect after that. I got rid of her body, and that was that. My life could finally...
Oh my god. Yeah. This one
beginning. My happiness was short-lived. Her family started trying to get in contact with her after they didn't hear from her for a few weeks. It didn't take long for them to find out she was dead and call the police. I turned myself in almost as soon as they questioned me. I knew that there was no point in denying what I had done. I went to jail just a little over a month after my wife had died. That's how long I got to live again. At one point, I managed to escape. It was during the 4th of July fireworks show. All of the commotion allowed me to slip away.
Wow.
But I knew I couldn't be on the run for long. They caught me a couple days later and brought me back. Now I'm stuck drinking crappy Kool-Aid in jail for the rest of my life. The story was inspired by a disturbing incident regarding a southern Missouri man who was convicted of killing his wife by giving her... He was upset.
Yeah, that is like, yeah, massive. Okay.
This happened a few years ago when I was dating my boyfriend at the time named Jeremy. When I met him, he was obsessed with Kool-Aid more than the average person. And it wasn't just the drink itself. He had most of the walls in his house covered with Kool-Aid posters. It was weird as hell, but I just went along with it. I eventually moved into his house and really started to notice his unhealthy addiction to the red powder. It's all he drinks. Some days, he doesn't eat anything except spoonfuls of undiluted Kool-Aid mix. His teeth are chronically stained red and have slowly been rotting away for years.
Oh, wow. Jeez, at least take care of your teeth, dude. Wow.
Unfortunately, since he has a remote job and works from home, he rarely leaves the house, which means he never has any reason to pretend like he's a normal person, so he never gets a break from the Kool-Aid. A few months ago, things took a turn for the worst when he ordered a Kool-Aid Man costume on eBay. The moment he put that thing on and absorbed the personality of the Kool-Aid Man, I knew that my boyfriend was a sick and mentally ill man.
Oh my god. Yeah, going to have a massive content warning. And wow, that thing is creepy. Like, just look at that thing.
From that day on, Jeremy demanded that I called him the Kool-Aid Man. If I ever suggested that he drank something else, or if I ever called him Jeremy, he would snap at me. And since then, he would never take off the costume, not even to shower. And every single day, this...
Oh. Okay, yeah. Wow, that is like not even funny. That is just disgusting.
stench that emanates from him became increasingly worse. He won't even take it off when we are intimate. The guy literally embodied the whole Kool-Aid persona. It was disturbing as hell. It was clear that he was suffering from some kind of mental disorder, but it didn't matter because he would refuse to get any sort of help. The guy thought he didn't have a problem and thought I was overreacting. I tried to accept the way he is, but after everything I've had to put up with over the years, his obsession was gradually taking over our lives. A few weeks ago, things got really bad between me and Jeremy. One night, he ran out of Kool-Aid, and since he can't drive with the giant Kool-Aid Man suit on, I've been making all the trips to the store for him. And when I told him that I wanted to wait until the morning, he threw a tantrum like a spoiled toddler. Despite being disturbed and afraid of what he might do as a fully grown man with no self-control, I stood my ground and we got into a heated argument. At a certain point, he started throwing things at me.
Yeah, at that point, just leave the relationship. I don't care.
And that's when I finally left the house and said I would get his stupid Kool-Aid if he would just calm down. I drove away, but I didn't go to the store.
Dude, yeah, leave the relationship.
Circled the block a few times until I had to pull over and have an emotional breakdown. I called my closest friend and told her everything while I tried to collect myself. After almost an hour of conversation, she convinced me that it was time to stop enabling Jeremy's destructive habit. We made a plan of action for me to confront him, and once I was ready, I drove home without any Kool-Aid.
Duquesne County Sheriff's Office, non-emergency hotline. Please direct all inquiries to our email or describe the situation you are reporting. Hi. I need an officer to come to my house. Ma'am, is this an emergency? No, I just need someone to be here in case things get bad. I'm scared of my boyfriend, and I know he's going to get violent. What's the address of your house, ma'am? It's 69 Oak Street in Spokane Valley. A deputy will be directed to your house and should arrive shortly. Are you currently at your house, ma'am? Yes, I'm right outside in my car. Listen carefully. Do not go inside your house until the deputy arrives. Remain in your car. Do you understand? Oh my God.
Oh god, that is creepy.
Oh my God. I think he just saw me. Please hurry and send somebody here. Ma'am, stay in your car. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Where's my Kool-Aid, bitch? I need it now! Give me my magic dust!
I didn't get any. You need to stop this.
You're telling me you don't have any Kool-Aid? Do you want me to drink your blood instead? Oh, Put the weapon down and get off the car right now! Do it before we tase you! Oh yeah! All you bitches can drink my piss! Jeremy was later arrested for attempted murder, and obviously, we are no longer together. As of now, he is still waiting for his trial in jail because he couldn't afford bail. I'm happy to know that he will be put away and get the help he needs. But after everything that happened, there is still one thing that will always remind me of him. Every time I pass by the Kool-Aid at the supermarket, I'm hit with flashbacks of that night. This story was inspired by Pops. Jeremy told the police that he had been arguing with his girlfriend before she headed out to get him Kool-Aid. When she failed to return, Jeremy became angry and went to find her. Police officers responded to calls that a male was at a location with a bat still in his hand as he fled, but that he had quickly given up when confronted.
Oh god. Okay. Hey, so this one's called 3 Scary True Sometime.
This is easily one of the most disturbing and gut-wrenching stories that people will ever hear, and it happened to me not too long ago. I haven't been the same since that day. It all happened in the summer of this year. I live in Sochi, Russia, and I had been dating my girlfriend for about 2 years at that point. Since it was summer, the two of us had been visiting the beach a lot. It was our...
Dude, what was that volleyball made of? for it to make that noise.
Favorite thing to do whenever we felt like getting out of the house. I would usually pick my girlfriend up, and then we would drive over to the beach and spend the whole day there. It was about 30 minutes away from where my girlfriend lived. When we got there, we would park in a nearby lot and then walk over to the beach and find a spot to set up our stuff. The beach was always crazy busy, and there were usually a ton of people. It made sense, of course, as it was summer. We did
I do actually kind of like to cool off sometimes, and actually do kind of like taking a break. Like, maybe relax in a pool or something.
didn't love all the crowds, but we just made the best of it. The two of us would swim, take walks, or just lie out on the sand and tan. It was a little annoying that it wasn't as private as we would have liked, though. Still, we kept going back. One afternoon, we were hanging out together at my girlfriend's place when we decided that we wanted to head over to the beach again. The only problem was that when I checked the forecast, I saw that the weather was going to be bad. There was supposed to be a huge storm later that day with lots of rain. My girlfriend still wanted to go despite the weather. I told her that she was crazy to want.
Is that a little risky? Like, yeah, sure, you want to enjoy a bit of a swim, but what? When the weather's supposed to be bad?
To go to the beach during a storm, but she kept begging me to go. She said that the beach would be way more empty and less packed this time around since it was going to rain. I was still hesitant, but I finally gave in and went along with it. I thought
mean, rightfully so. Like, I mean, yeah, isn't that kind of like a little dangerous?
that it could be fun to be at the beach when it wasn't so crowded. So we got in the car and drove over. It wasn't raining yet as we drove, but it was already cloudy and gloomy outside. I could tell that it was going to be a shitty day, but I knew that it just made it even more likely that no one would be out. We finally arrived at the beach and parked the car. As we walked up, we found that the beach was pretty empty as we had expected. There were maybe a dozen people scattered around, but it was nothing to what it usually was. We both got pretty excited. We decided that we would try to swim before the storm, so we started getting ready, but the weather began acting up almost immediately. It started getting windy as hell, and a little rainy too. The waves looked a little wild as well.
Yeah, might be a bad sign.
We didn't care too much though. We figured we could just walk along the water if it was too crazy to swim. I got down to my swim trunks just in case I swam later on, but my girlfriend just left her dress on. Then we headed down and started walking
Dude, if you're going to swim, why leave your clothes on?
close to the shore. The water was even more wild the closer we got to it.
Like, at least get down to your swimming suits.
It was splashing all over the place, and the waves were getting pretty big, but we didn't mind getting splashed a little. We were just happy to be out together without the crowds. We walked along the shore and talked about random topics. Then after a while, we were contemplating swimming again, but we second-guessed it as the waves and current were only getting worse. It was definitely starting to storm by that point. As we continued to walk and talk, we began getting splashed a lot by the waves. We just laughed it off though. It was already raining anyway, and we didn't mind getting wet. We just continued to walk as the storm got even worse. But what happened next is the most disturbing thing ever. The waves were getting
Why walk?
bigger and bigger when, out of nowhere, a huge wave came crashing down on top of us, knocking us both to the ground.
Ooh. Yeah, that'll definitely take the wind out of your sails, but not tonight.
What the hell was that? Babe, are you okay? Where are you? That's when I saw her. She was being pulled out into the water. I'm coming! I stumbled to my feet and tried to run over to her, but another huge wave came and splashed me down again. I felt like I was going to drown. The waves were so strong, and they kept pushing me down over and over again. I finally managed to get up. I desperately looked around for my girlfriend, but I couldn't find her. I started panicking like crazy. Where are you? Hello? Babe? Where are you?
She was nowhere to be found. All I could see was the water crashing around me. I started screaming frantically for help, hoping someone else would be able to find her.
Somebody help me! Help!
I finally managed to get out of the water and call the police, but it was too late. They couldn't find her. She was lost. Not long after that day, some footage of what happened got released. It was allegedly captured by a nearby beachgoer that had witnessed the whole thing. I was completely traumatized. The footage just allowed me to relive the horrible ordeal over and over again. I can't help but think that I could have prevented the whole thing if I hadn't let us go to the beach that day. She would still be here with me. This story was inspired by a disturbing incident regarding a shocking video of a woman.
Museland's art style.
Unfortunately, she has not.
Oh my god. Dude, like, seriously. Like, don't go out on beach. Beach there's bad weather. That's the moral of the story here. I should probably really post this one.
It all started during the summer when my friend Cameron and I both graduated high school. We wanted to do something big for our graduation, so we decided to go on a trip to the Bahamas with a bunch of other friends to celebrate the milestone on a cruise ship. I was excited to go with everyone, but I was a little weary of one of the guys going. His name was Steven. I didn't know the guy super well. He was a lot closer with Cameron, but he seemed like a big, annoying piece of trash. He was very rough around the edges and was always looking for a reason to get into a fight. But Cameron always liked him for some reason. I wasn't too happy about it.
Why would you like a dickhead like that? Like, I mean, wow.
Him coming on the cruise, but Cameron insisted. It was going to be a big boat anyways, so I hoped that I wouldn't have to interact with Steven too much. So when the time came, I packed up my bags and flew down to the Bahamas with the rest of the guys. From there, we got driven from the airport to the dock where we would board our cruise ship. I was really excited to get started with the trip and had decided to not let Steven ruin my time. He hadn't been too bad on the flight over, so I was hopeful that everything would be okay. We boarded the boat pretty early, but it wasn't set to leave the dock until that night. Throughout the day and the evening, we all ate and drank very heavily. The cruise was all inclusive, so we all got unlimited drinks and basically started drinking as soon as we got on the boat. It didn't take long for me, Cameron, and the rest of the guys to get absolutely shit-faced. We all
Yeah. I mean, after a while, well, you might want to do something
began
like that.
partying like crazy. Everything was going perfectly until nighttime. That's when the piece of shit Steven decided to start making trouble. He began picking fights with everyone because his dumb ass couldn't handle his alcohol. At first, people just ignored him and tried to continue to party, but he quickly went from mildly annoying to a total asshole. He came up to me and started cussing at me and pushing me to do a dare. I refused as I knew he would just try to make me do something stupid as hell. I tried to avoid him, but he kept following me around and pushing me to give in. I continued
Yeah. It's a peer pressure.
to refuse and got pretty upset, but I didn't want to start an actual fight, as I knew that Steven would beat me up due to how big he was. I didn't know what I had done to make Steven so eager to pick on me, but he wouldn't let up.
Come on, sissy. What are you so scared of?
Finally, Cameron decided to intervene.
All right, that's enough, man. Back the hell off. Oh, yeah? You're fighting his battles for him now? Or maybe you want to do the dare. Is that it? All right, I will.
I tried to tell Cameron not to do it, but he pushed me away. Steven seemed surprised that Cameron had actually agreed. Then, he started smiling like a psycho and dared Cameron to jump off the boat. Everyone egged Cameron on, of course, as they were all drunk out of their minds. Cameron seemed ready to do it, but I had a bad feeling about it. It was dark as hell out there, and you couldn't see shit in the sea.
Yeah, I mean, understandably so.
Tried to convince Cameron not to go through with it, but then Steven grabbed me by the collar and threatened to beat the shit out of me if I kept getting in the middle of them. I was about to say something back to him, but Cameron pulled Steven off of me and said that he would jump off the boat. I could tell he was still drunk as hell, but he seemed determined. He stripped down in his drunken stupor and then actually jumped off the boat. Everyone ran to the edge of the boat and took their phones out to take pictures or videos. Some shined their lights down on the water to try and see where he was. But it was impossible to see Cameron in the darkness. I was scared shitless. Cam!
Yeah, I mean, of that, yeah.
Cameron, can you hear me? It was so dark, and the waves were crazy. I didn't see how he was going to make it back. I pulled out my phone and shined the light everywhere, desperately trying to catch sight of him. That's when I saw him. It was still hard to make him out, but he looked like he was attempting to swim back, but struggling. Help! Help me! These waves are way too strong! We all immediately started panicking, and everyone regretted urging him to do something so stupid. We alerted the captain to shine the spotlight down on the water so that we could see Cameron better. The captain immediately found him in the water and threw a buoy down. Cameron started to panic even more as the current seemed to be getting worse and worse. Help! It's pulling me away! Cameron, hold on! Then my heart dropped as I caught sight of the one thing that everyone had to have been fearing. I saw the top part of a shark swimming towards Cameron. It looked like a fin or something around that cutting through the water. Cameron, look out! Then the shark appeared fully and lunged at him. Go, Cameron!
Oh.
That's when Cameron disappeared completely out of view. We didn't know if he had been eaten or drowned. We all assumed that the shark had taken him. The video and story went viral on the internet not long after. One of the other guys there posted it. I was traumatized forever after that. I lost my friend, and it was all because of some stupid dare. This story was inspired by a disturbing incident regarding a video that may have revealed the last words said by 18-year-old Cameron Robbins as he jumped off a flap in the water. The video gave weeks that followed his years now.
Okay, hold on. Back up. Okay, yeah. Wow, I'm surprised. It's like, I mean, who would be traumatized after that?
Parents.
Okay.
I've been a flight attendant for several years now. My main route is between LA and Taipei, Taiwan. I occasionally get to go to other locations, but almost all my work is done between those two cities. I'm the chief stewardess and spend most of my time in business class. The passengers are usually nice and don't cause problems, but there are exceptions. The flight between LA and Taiwan is over 15 hours long, which is like spending an entire day in the air. So I do my best to accommodate the passengers to help them be more comfortable. Most requests are perfectly reasonable.
Okay, fair.
But one passenger made a request that I never thought I would hear. One evening, my colleagues and I were setting up the cabin for boarding before a late-night departure out of LA. As usual, those with disabilities are allowed to board first. There was only one movement-impaired passenger in the business class section that night. He rolled down the gangway on a mobility scooter, but was forced to leave it behind. The moment he stepped through the door, the entire place smelled like feces. I
Gross.
turned my head to see the source of the odor and saw the most disgusting excuse for a human being I've ever seen. He was over 400 pounds and could barely walk. He squeezed himself down the aisle and held onto the seats for support until he finally sat down. He snapped his fingers and ordered me to get his carry-on and stow it for him. I unfortunately had to accommodate him. As I lifted the bag into the overhead bin, I saw him eyeing me up and down. I knew none of my colleagues were safe. The entire flight crew, apart from the pilots, were female. And it was clear
Oh my god. If he does that, then yeah, probably not a good guy.
he hadn't had any positive relationship with a woman in many years. I'd love to stay in the hotel with you during
I'm sorry.
my layover. Joe, you're really missing out if you don't.
Sir, please stop it.
All my colleagues had similar interactions with him. After 2 agonizing hours, we caught a break as we dimmed the lights for the night. But about an hour into the flight, that creep got up to use the bathroom. But I did not expect him to start yelling for help. Help! Somebody get in here and help me! Hurry!
Sir, what's the problem?
Get in here and wipe my ass!
What? Sir, that's not happening.
Yes, it is! I can't do it myself!
You got 2 hands. Now leave me the hell alone.
Hey, bitch! Do you have any idea how much I paid for my ticket? This is business class! Now, you're gonna take care of my business. Or I'm gonna spread my cheeks and wipe it all.
Yeah, skip on that.
Thought, you lazy bimbo. I didn't want to do it, but I felt like I had to. We were over the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We had nowhere to land to kick him out, which gave him plenty of time to escalate the situation. As the chief stewardess, I couldn't force my colleagues to do it, so I prepared as best as I could. I put on 3 pairs of latex gloves. Then I headed to the lavatory. There she is. Come on, deep into that crack.
Skipping over that. That is not happening.
To his seat. He remained under close supervision for the rest of the flight. On the other hand, I spent most of the rest of the flight crying in another lavatory, desperately trying to get clean. The first thing I did when we landed was take a long, hot shower. The creep was blacklisted from the airline. He ended up making it to Thailand, where I presumed he found another flight back home. However, months later, I learned that he died of unknown causes. I celebrated happily, but I'm no less traumatized by what he did. This story was inspired by
Okay, guys. Go in the video here. So, guys, like this video, go down, like, subscribe, ring that bell, share this video with a friend, and see you guys next video.